South Dakota is a state in the Midwestern United States. It's the 17th largest of the United States, but the 5th least populated. Famous residents include TV game show host Bob Barker, Vice President Hubert Humphrey, TV journalist Tom Brokaw, and Charlie's Angel Cheryl Ladd. It's also home to Wall Drug Store. Located on the edge of the Badlands in the town of Wall, people as far away as France, Afghanistan, Australia, and Antarctica, mostly a few hundred bored climate scientists, know how many miles they are from this tourist destination. The store that originally attracted travelers with free water as far back as the 1930s has more than 3,000 signs around the world. If you haven't seen one, you haven't looked very hard. The state's rolling plains to the east are covered in fields and ranches, eventually giving way to the stark beauty of the Badlands and the Black Hills. The Black Hills aren't really hills, they comprise a low mountain range that features the carvings of four U.S. presidents, Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt, and the partially completed Crazy Horse Memorial. A large pocket of mammoth remains was discovered near the city of Hot Springs in 1974. Although there are no more mammoths tromping through South Dakota, maybe there could be dinosaurs. Living dinosaurs. Living fossils may still roam South Dakota. In 1934, a large dinosaur-like creature lumbered onto a road near Lake Campbell in eastern South Dakota, forcing a farmer to swerve his tractor to miss it, causing the farmer to drive the tractor into a ditch. When the farmer came back with help, people discovered a trail of unidentifiable tracks from a large, four-legged beast that went through a muddy field and toward the lake. Before this sighting, livestock had been mysteriously disappearing from the area. Unfortunately, there was no follow-up to this story. However, if you want to see a dinosaur in South Dakota, swing on over to Wall Drug for a mechanical Tyrannosaurus Rex that pushes its head from a patch of palms, then roars. Taku-He. The Taku-He is South Dakota's Bigfoot. Although this beast fits the typical physical description of a Bigfoot as a smelly hair-covered giant, the Taku-He has a worse attitude than most Bigfoot, and may also be a snappy dresser. Some people have reported seeing the tall, hairy, ape-like creature wearing a coat and tall hat. Although there were Taku-He reports from early in the 1970s, specifically on September 6, 1974 near Jefferson, South Dakota, when a man saw a Bigfoot dragging a dead animal through an alfalfa field. Sightings of the South Dakota Bigfoot increased dramatically in 1977. In September of that year, ranch hands near Little Eagle saw a big gorilla watch them run cattle. When the men approached the creature, it ran away. The encounters didn't stop there. More than 25 reports came from the area around Little Eagle in the next 3 months. Some of the encounters put the Taku-He in the vicinity of mutilated livestock that's genitals had been removed, and the animals drained of blood, the Little Devils of Spirit Mound. In the southeast corner of South Dakota is a 1,280-foot tall, 320-acre hill that is the highest point in the Great Plains in a 100-mile radius. The Sioux, Omaha, and Otoes Indians revered and feared the Spirit Mound, believing little devils dwelled within. The devils, 18-inch-tall little people, hated humankind. One legend has hundreds of Indian warriors attacking the little devil's home on the mound. The diminutive creatures slaughtered the war party with magical arrows. During their historic westward expedition, explorers Meriwether Lewis and William Clark visited the mound to look for the little devils. Lewis, Clark, and 10 others from the expedition traveled 3 hours from their camp by the Missouri River to Spirit Mound. Clark is responsible for the grammatical and spelling errors. The base of the mound is a regular parallelogram. The regular form of this hill would in some measure justify a belief that owed its origin to the hand of man, but as the earth and loose pebbles and other substances of which it was composed bear an exact resemblance to the steep ground which borders on the creek and its neighborhood, we concluded that it was most probably the production of nature. Sergeant John Ordway's journal revealed that although the party found none of the little people, they discovered several holes in the ground that was large enough for the little devils to hide in. Today, the Spirit Mound is a state park covered in native prairie grass. Banshee of the Badlands. The Badlands of South Dakota opened from seemingly nowhere. The rolling plains of the rest of the state suddenly give way to a dramatic series of spires and canyons dotted by bighorn sheep, bison, and prairie dogs. Fossils are commonly found in this ancient seabed, the strata as easily visible as the layers of a cake. Something lonely roams this desolate area in the southwest part of the state, specifically around a butte known as Watch Dog. Called the Banshee, the shriek of this entity pierces the soul of anyone who hears it. The creature looks like a woman, but anyone who sees it knows it is no woman. The scream pierces the night and has terrified travelers, cowboys, and immigrants for the past century and a half. A banshee is a creature of Irish folklore that scream predicates the death of someone in the family. Why one would be in the middle of America is anyone's guess. Lake Kampesca Monster. In 1888, a group having a picnic at Lake Kampesca in eastern South Dakota were surprised when a monster broke the surface of the water and ruined a perfectly good lunch. The lizard-like creature was at least 200 feet long, according to the witnesses. The beast had a 30-foot-long fluke tail and a crested head as large as a yearling calf. They reported to the Watertown Public Opinion newspaper. The monster was covered in scales. Opening its awful jaws, it uttered the most unearthly laugh that ever broke on mortal ears, one witness told the Public Opinion. The picnickers, all well-educated and sure of what they saw, left everything on the lakeshore and hurried home. Although this was the biggest sighting of the monster in this 5,250-acre inland glacial lake, people aboard an excursion boat saw something similar on the lake 2 years before, according to South Dakota Magazine. Two-faced monster. American Indian mothers spoke of the two-faced monster in sharp tones to keep their children close when the sun went down. The monster would nab overconfident children, or in some cases pregnant women, and stab them to death with its knife-like elbows. The Plains Sioux, Dakota, and Omaha Indians all have legends of the two-faced monster. Lakota legends claim Two-Face was once a beautiful woman who tried to seduce the god of the sun and was given two faces as punishment, one beautiful, one disfigured, and ugly. Anyone who sees both faces of this monster dies instantly. Or so the stories go.